Hey guys, welcome to Tone Bros. My name's Casey.
And I'm Colin. We're going to get started with our current topic of the day, which has to do with JHS, the new 424 gain stage.
Yeah.
He recreated a Tascam.
Yeah.
What are we getting to at this point?
One strip of a Tascam Porta Studio, basically.
You know, you can buy like an old Tascam probably for like $300-400.
You can, but
I mean, it's not reliable.
then you got to deal with it. It's a whole other issue. Yeah, you can do that. So I guess this got popular by this artist McGee. McGee, yeah.
Cool McGee.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Until a month ago, I had never heard
of this guy. You know what this reminds me of? Like, because this is cool now. You ever seen Spider-Man 3?
Maybe
with Tobey Maguire.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen.
Or he's like going down the street and he's like, and it's real cringy.
Yeah,
that's what this reminds me.
That's what this Tascam.
Yeah,
424.
It feels cringy to me.
Yeah.
People really like me.
Hey, stick around. It's gonna start again in a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's okay.
So they've got it where you can play it like a pedal with quarter-inch jacks, and they've got where you can DI out of it.
DI out.
And you can pick and choose how it's going to work. And there's the two little gain knobs. You've got EQ knobs. You got level knobs. The whole thing.
Yep. Some of the sounds are cool. I'm not saying it's not cool. And I tell you what, if you use it with other effects and it sounds almost synth-like, there's some cool stuff with it. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's not for me.
It's not for me, but the Rockman is more up my alley and probably not up these people's alley.
And this is more up my alley than the Rockman.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of 6 one, half does of the other.
Sure.
So I kind of fall with this is like a color box too, where
a color box is way more usable.
I think it's more usable. You're right, but I think it's kind of the people that were using the color box as an effect, as in like I step on this and it sounds like this one direct into a Neve kind of sound. I think there's a lot of people that will use this the same ways they use that, and it's just a different flavor of it. It's chocolate, not vanilla, you know? Sure.
Yeah, I am curious, like, because there's the color box. What's the Clover?
Yeah, the Clover. That's
it's like a Boss preamp type thing.
Yeah, the Edge used that Boss preamp for years.
So they've got some really cool ideas. JHS does. It's just like it's very niche. And not that like it would be on a big board, definitely not a small board.
Man, this thing blew up though.
Everyone loves it.
Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's in love with it. And I kind of feel like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like I'm left scratching my head on the outside, looking in the store window like, I don't understand what the big deal is.
It's different.
It's cool. It's a little different.
No, it is different. Don't say a little.
I don't think it's a lot different. How much different is it than like a channel strip of a Neve? Or how much different is it
a lot.
Boss?
A lot.
It's sonically much different. I'm not saying it's sonically not different. I'm saying it's not that different of an idea.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
Well, I don't think they're not going to sell it because it's a different idea.
Yeah.
They're going to sell it because it's a different sound.
Yeah.
That you can't take that in consideration.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. When you said it's different, I thought you were trying to say it's a different style of idea. It's a different type of pedal that's never been done.
Like, you know how you have an amp in a box?
Yeah.
There's a Marshall. JHS did the Super Bolt, which is like a Supro. That was different.
Yep.
This is kind of like a preamp style thing that's different.
We're hitting this era, it feels like, of a lot of preamp pedals.
Which I don't hate. I think it's a good idea.
I don't hate it, but I'm not using them.
We're not.
That's what I'm saying. Me personally.
The average musician, I don't think is.
I love the idea of actually having, like, in theory, okay, hear me out, of having like a power amp or an effects loop amp where I can run like 3 or 4 different preamps on my pedal board to get me unique sounds.
Yeah.
But
you want a Tone King Imperial and a Friedman.
Yep. And then a Rockman.
You are insane.
Yeah, but I mean, think about that. How cool would that be?
The Tone King and the Friedman would be cool.
Yeah. Well, and if it was somebody that was really into this type of sound, they could have this 424 and throw it on their board. Or
right. Now, that's the thing with this. I think this will be like an integral part of someone's sound. You know what I mean? I think this will be somebody's like pedal. But like, it is not an everyday musician type pedal. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
It's not going to be like the Morning Glory. The JHS Morning Glory. You can use that for like an everyday pedal board type thing.
Yeah.
This will not be.
No, this is definitely a unique thing.
Yeah. I would much rather have your pulp and peel and have a direct out
Yeah.
than this.
I would too. Or a color box.
Exactly.
Me personally.
Me
I would
personally.
rather have a crayon, one of the small versions of the color
Yeah.
box, than this.
I want to know, are they doing colored pencils next?
I hope so.
They got crayons.
Yep.
They have no. Okay.
No, that's not a good joke either. Dad jokes galore. I think it's really awesome for a lot of these players out here that love this sound that's out.
I think, to be fair, we're not in that market.
I think that's my problem. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say is like I'm left outside the storefront window scratching my head.
Everyone's like, this is the new thing, man. It turns all your bad feelings into good.
Yeah, and I just like I'm kind of left out there like I know this is probably cool, but I don't get it yet. Like maybe I'll get it one day, but I'm not there yet.
I think I get it.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's cool. I just wouldn't spend the money that it costs. That's just me personally. And maybe it's because I'm a tightwad.
yeah, you spent 200 and 250 bucks. I guess we didn't say that. It's 250 bucks essentially, 249.
Yeah.
You've spent 250 bucks on dumber pedals.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't want to call it out too much. I guess it doesn't matter. The Church of Tone.
Oh, man. I spent $200 on that thing. I respect Josh Smith, and he's got that Chula thing. I don't know how anyone uses a church tone.
I don't know how he uses it. But, and we love treble boosters and that type of thing. So
Yeah.
it's not like we don't understand how to use it. We've had, I guess a couple times we've found some sounds we're like, oh, this is pretty good. But we've never plugged it in and thought like, man,
This is
I want
pedal.
I want to put it on my board.
Yeah, no. That was a young Colin.
Well,
A
what do you do?
naive Colin.
You don't know. And that's
It
the-
says the Church of Tone. You expect it to change everything.
And that was the era of like all these demos coming out, and you just didn't know what you were getting. It was kind of the Wild West of boutique pedals.
I love
back then.
Pro Guitar Shop, but man, it led me down some dark roads.
Yeah, they screwed me on a few things. Not intentionally, not like buying.
No,
pedals,
they were
but
just like, man, that demo sounds great, and then you plug it in, you're like, yeah, no.
I didn't understand. Some of that is my fault because I didn't understand that the rig mattered as much as
Right.
it does. Miking, the EQ, all that stuff.
Yeah, JHS. This is a cool thing. I just not my own type of thing I'd use. So when you get more into my market, I'm all here for you.
Yeah. Come talk to me.
Yeah, but not this.
This, yeah, I really wish that I would have dug it. Because I feel like I should really like this. You know what I mean? Because I do like that Rockman and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not up there. Let's go on to what's on my mind, because this is the what's on my mind topic.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads into the same thing. Is this McGee thing and this 424 kind of got me thinking about this. Like I said, I hadn't heard of McGee until about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I heard the name, but I hadn't really heard any of it. This pedal comes out, and I'm going to be one of those guys. The pedal comes out, and I look him up and listen to his music for the first time after the pedal comes out. And after I listen to, have you listened to his stuff?
Yeah, it's different.
It does sound like that pedal,
Yeah.
but it makes me think, and it got me thinking too, are people going back again? Are we going back to some real sounds, and are people craving real guitar sounds again?
Oh,
So,
boy.
okay, this is it, because I think of that, and then I also think of the Queens of the Stone Age stuff that they were using that, it was the PV, wasn't the Deuce, the
Oh.
PV Decade.
Decade.
The PV Decade amp was their real popular thing, and PV just released the preamp pedal of it
Right.
here recently. So it kind of feels like people are going back to try to get some of these like real guitar tones, and people are craving real guitar tones again.
No,
You don't think so?
you're wrong about this whole thing.
Or people, I have two minds about it, because I think that maybe we're going back to it. So maybe we'll debate that here in a second. But then the other side of me is like, no. They're so used to hearing this direct sound. I'm going to say it, a crappy direct sound, that in, guitar tone land is not a great tone necessarily. That now some of these direct sounds are really great and cool sounding in their ears, and they're used to playing with headphones all the time. You know what I mean? Like, which way are we going? Personally, I kind of think we're going back to real guitar sounds.
You are diverting like two different paths.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's two different ways to look at it. And I'm on the path of, I think, we are trying to go back to real guitar sounds, and people hear a real guitar sound and something unique and interesting. It's somebody using a champ in a recording, somebody plugging into a Neve strip and blowing it out, and it's really cool sounding, and all these different wild things that happened in the past. I think maybe we've heard so much of this, like plugging in plugging in a modeler, a Kemper, a Helix, or whatever, and everybody sounds so generic that whenever somebody like McGee or Queens of the Stone Age comes out and has a truly unique sound, like Eddie Van Halen did and all these people in the past years, it comes out and everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute, I gotta go buy an old Tascam recorder and like this Roland synth thing that McGee's using and all these things. I've got to buy this stuff. And it's kind of crappy stuff. Let's be honest. Like the old Tascam Porta Studios were not made well and not meant to be like impressive things. It's kind of cool, but it's also kind of a crappy sound. Let's be honest. It's not like it's stereotypical good guitar tone. But I think it might be leading people to be like, I want something visceral and something real.
I don't think it's necessarily that. I think people are trying to find something unique, right? Mm-hmm. So they've, all these modelers, they are like kind of the most perfect example of sounds, right?
It's the McDonald's of sounds.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the most perfect, not that McDonald's is perfect, but you know what I mean.
It's average.
It's what you hear on a recording, right?
Yep.
All right. There's that, but there's also people that, like, maybe they were growing up, like this Queens of Stone Age, this amp, the Decade. It was, like, not a great sound. It was, like, very snarly, small box sounding.
Bad.
Call it what you want.
Yep.
But it was unique, and it inspired them to play certain ways.
Yeah.
Right? So they're trying to find inspiration. I don't think it has anything to do with, they want something real. I think it's, this sound inspires me in a different way. It's just like anything. Like you grab a different tool, different guitar, different amp, and it inspires you differently. I don't think it's necessarily we crave something real. I think it's, hey, this thing inspires me in a different way than what I have been using. Because, McGee, he could play through anything. And I'm sure with all these modelers, you can adjust your sounds to sound like that. But he just tried it one day, and he's like, something unique,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's true. I think there's part of us that, have all this AI stuff that's going on now. That it feels like everything is just like computer generated, just BS. Like frankly, just a bunch of BS. Like, not unique, not very artful. There's not a whole lot of human in a lot of things going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I wonder if this is like, because he's kind of got that like rubber bridge, baritone, detuned kind of sound with this stuff, McGee in specific. And then I think also back to Jack White when he was using those old Silvertone amps, and he was like using crazy stuff.
Terrible guitars.
Yeah, like he was getting such a unique sound. Yeah, it was inspiring to him, and he liked that kind of fight in between the guitars in it. But that type of thing, for me anyway, when I listened to Jack White back in that time period, it made me crave like, that's a raw sound. That's really raw. Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe this isn't going to drive people that way necessarily because it's not like super raw necessarily.
It's not mainstream either.
Or maybe it is the most raw form because it's kind of plugging straight in, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not mainstream. I think it's so interesting too that like I had not heard of this person until a month ago. But then I've talked to other people and they're like, they've been all over my feed for years. Like they're huge. That's all I see is McGee stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, McGee who?
Where have I been?
Yeah, where have I been?
Yeah.
And that just shows you like how like closed off we are in some of this stuff because
we're
all over the guitar community as in like styles we like.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about specific things often, but we like all kinds of genres and we like all kinds of music.
Yep.
So it's weird that it didn't show up at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's kind of like Pandora. They listen to what you like and then they tailor everything to that. So like it's the AI type stuff, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything different, as far as like we're just tired of technology and we want to go back. This is not, I don't think we're going back. I think this is just they're inspired in a different way. They just happen to use it, and that's what they're using.
Do you think a lot of people will use this, like 424 pedal too? I know we're kind of blending the two topics together.
That's fine.
But I think it's inevitable that you can't, like, separate them too well right now.
Sure.
Do you think people are going to use that into modelers? I mean, I know some people will, obviously. But do you think there's many people that will?
I think there's going to be people that would try it. I don't know if this wouldn't, like, freak out a modeler, like, algorithm.
Well, I think you would probably just put the modeler in, like, a bypass, like, signal where you can shoot, you know what I mean? Or just use the DI and just only send that DI, I guess, to house or something.
Again, it's not us that would use something like that, you know?
No.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I feel like the ultimate old man right now.
Kind of are.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. Is because I'm just like, I want to really like this and stuff, and I want to be hopeful that we are going back to real guitar sounds and visceral
There's no
sounds.
going back. There's only revisiting.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, revisiting sounds and, like, taking another look at it, you know, because there's something special about it.
Well, to me, it's no different than, remember, Nobles was not popular
Yeah,
for a while, but it's revisited and now it's crazy popular.
yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's interesting. It made me think about that stuff because I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just hopeful. I guess I'm just romantic about some of these old things, and I'm hopeful.
yeah.
I'm a eternal optimist.
Are you, though? Are you, though?
Yeah, maybe not. So, speaking of real guitar sounds,
So, speaking of guitar sound,
we have been using two different backup rigs for
Yep.
our normal current rigs. Whenever we go and gig, we both play tube amps. We both have a standard pedal board, nothing too special, but we want a backup because we don't want to be caught with our amps going down and having to plug direct.
or our pants down.
Yeah, or our pants down. And we don't want to have to plug in direct to a Tascam recorder and then into the mains.
You know, not for the rest of the show.
So what we've done is we went two different routes.
Yep.
You went with a Pod Express,
Yep.
and I went with the Boss IR-2.
Mm-hmm.
It's our backup. It's our oh crap, everything hit the fan and my amp's down, whatever. A roadie kicked it over and it got smashed in the back of my truck. I forgot to put my tailgate up and it fell out going down the highway.
Sure.
You get to the gig, something happens, you got to plug this thing in. Which one should we have bought? Should you have gotten the Pod Express?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Should I have got the IR-2? There are perks to both. We're going to put them side by side. We're going to plug them in direct. And you guys are going to hear sound.
Yeah, we should talk about why we went the routes that we did.
Okay, let's get them out here.
Okay.
And we can point to them and talk about them a little bit more.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay, we'll be right back with you guys. Okay, guys, we're back here with you. So, we're kind of on the wrong sides with these pedals, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's okay. So, I bought the IR-2 as the idea behind it was, A, it's a Boss pedal. It's not going to break on me. I can do anything to it, and it's still going to work. It's got a thing where you can switch. You push a button one time. It stays. There's different ways you can set it, but you can push a button and switch between two different channels, basically. Has enough channels for me to get through there. Really, I just need one channel, maybe two at most if my board and amp went down. It's got a little bit of ambience / reverb in there. It's got a small little EQ and a level control. It's not very complicated. It's got a little loop you can use in there, like an effects loop, but there's no other effects in there. So it's basically, my main idea was, if my amp goes down, I could throw my pedal board with this on the ground, and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I've got an extra little cable hooked up for my pedal board, so I can just plug it right in, and I'm good to go. If my pedal board and my amp go down, I've got a little more of a problem on my hands.
Right.
I'd basically be playing with two channels and reverb,
Right.
which is definitely doable, but it would be a little more complicated for sure.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts with buying the Pod Express?
So, it's not as rough and tough as the Boss. I think we've talked about this before. This is a plastic enclosure. I really thought about this as like, if everything goes down, which with me, it might happen.
Yeah.
It can replace my pedal board, or it can replace my amp, or it can do both. What I really like about it is you hit these two buttons here and you go in preset mode. I'm not going to mess with it now because we got our levels situated a little bit. But you can hit these two at the same time, and you've got like 21 presets. So actually, I think the first 7 I made like if my amp goes down. The second 7, I think it's like if they both went down, and the last one's like if just my pedals went down. So that's how I've kind of done it. But anyways, the cool thing about this is it's pretty like user friendly. It is pretty simple.
Okay.
It's pretty user friendly. That being said, you've got a lot of stuff here on the fly. You can assign certain switches to add in a drive if you wanted. So you could have like just an amp sound, hit a button, and you could turn on a solo boost if you wanted. So there's some cool things. You can add another switch or whatever you wanted.
It's got a tuner built in it.
Tuner built in, which is not the best, but hey, it would get you by.
It's got tap tempo.
Tap tempo. So cool things about it. I would say is that if anything went down with your rig, that's the one that I felt like would do. It's kind of like the HX Effects all-in-one pedal. Not all of it, but just the main features. And I thought it was the most user-friendly for my brain. So.
They both have headphones jacks. I use mine as a practice tool sometimes.
Me too.
It's great for that. But yeah, that's the main uses for them is it's that, oh crap, things went down. Let's plug them in. But we don't really know which one we prefer.
We've never really A-B'd them, so.
And so you can load IRs into the Boss. Can you load IRs in the pod?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so yeah, and we haven't messed with any of that. All that stuff is stock. We have tweaked some settings and things like that, and we're going to play with some of that anyway. We'll kind of go through a few of the clean and crunch sounds of each one, I think. That's probably the way to go about it.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of play from there. We are going from the guitar into this AB box, which will switch between each pedal. And then we're going out of there direct into our interface. Yep. So you guys are going to be hearing a direct sound. We have a little monitor set up in here in the room, and we're going to be hearing the sound through that. So it's basically what it would be like on the gig with a little monitor going. If your rig goes down, this is what it would sound like to you playing live.
Yep.
So
I think we'll try to do a Fender sound, a Vox sound, and a Marshall sound.
I think that's probably the most important.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do one high gain sound just for the sake of doing it.
Sounds good.
To see how close they are.
We will try to leave all the effects off of this one so it's a little more comparable.
Yeah.
For fun, we might mess with it later, but we'll try to make it as direct comparison as possible.
Yeah. So we're just kind of curious which one we prefer and how it feels. So anyway, let's get started on this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the Fender kind of ish sounds. What's your thoughts?
It's hard to tweak them on the fly. This one had more mids, but that could be just how it's set. I don't know. To me, this felt more like a direct sound, and this felt more like it had like some pad to it. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. I thought this was, the examples I would give you is, I thought this, yeah, it had more mids. I thought it was more like brilliant sounding, like more
Sparkle.
top end sparkle.
Yeah.
That is true to Fender. I do have the mids on this guy, if I remember right where my settings are, because once you change the knobs on the IR-2, it saves it after 2 seconds, but there's no way to figure out exactly where it's set. I'm pretty sure I backed the mids off on the Fender setting on this thing. So, but even with the mids backed off, the mids did seem a little more pronounced. I thought that, and I'm a deluxe user all the time, this technically is a twin supposed setting on there.
And that's technically a Princeton.
And that's a Princeton. So a pretty big difference there. I thought, me personally as a deluxe player all the time, I thought the IR-2 was a little closer to what my deluxe normally sounds like in the room with the monitor we have here. But the mids were a little bit too much. I would need to back the mids down a little bit to get it closer to where it was. Where I think the Pod Express, the mids were probably in the right spot, but it wasn't quite as brilliant and didn't have that top end sparkle like you said.
Sure.
But I thought they were actually pretty close.
Yeah.
I thought that, now when I'm saying they're pretty close, I don't mean they're pretty similar. I mean they're both pretty close to what a deluxe is.
Yeah, they're very different in the room.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear that on the audio, but
And we got pretty close to clipping our interface there for a second, and I didn't realize it there till the end. So maybe some of that stuff is clipped, and if so, I apologize. We backed it down a little bit. But I do think that they are drastically different. On that setting, I personally prefer the IR-2, but I've also dialed that IR-2 in for my liking.
right.
So that's probably some of it, and I am that deluxe user all the time.
Right.
You use your Princeton quite a bit, but I don't think you're using this setting on your pod that much. Maybe I'm wrong?
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and set up the next setting. What were we going to do? We were going to do a Vox sound?
Vox.
Okay. Well, let's get that set up and then get started. Okay, so that was the Vox sounds.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Very.
That thing wiped the floor with the IR-2.
Yeah, that sounded so much better.
That IR-2 sounded like garbage.
This is actually modeled after a matchless. That setting.
Oh, well, the IR-2 is based off some type of Vox. It says Diamond.
I'm assuming an AC30.
I'm assuming an AC30
But that
also.
thing sounded so much better. Actually,
Way better.
The Vox is actually what I use most of the time.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could use that Vox and roll down your volume a little bit. It's perfect.
Yep.
The IR-2, just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was buzzy and fizzy.
It
and
had it was the top end. It was like too snarly, and it didn't sound real.
It was not good. No, it did not sound real.
No.
Not that either of these sounded like a real Vox amp, like perfectly.
But that sounded closer.
But that was closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was a Vox player, and that was my main amp source, and I needed a backup, I would stay away from that IR-2.
Yeah, I was real impressed with that, actually.
I was
doing AB.
Yeah.
Like, I was real impressed.
It shows you how different companies think amp sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not even close.
When you listen to the audio, I'm real curious what you all think, but, like, this, yeah, that sounded way more authentic.
Yeah.
But,
It's just completely different.
right.
So, okay. Well, let's fire up a kind of a crunch sound. I guess we're going to go for a Marshall-esque sound here.
Right.
We'll get them both dialed in here, like, you know, something we like the sound of, and get some sound samples going.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, I feel like both of them had qualities that were close to the Marshall, and both of them had qualities that was way off from the Marshall sound in my head.
So something I will say, that crunch setting
Yeah.
is based on a Friedman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Based on a Friedman BE.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It has
Yep.
a lot of that body and like boom, boom.
Yep, and then had some...
It's a technical term if you want to use it. Boom, boom, boom.
has a little more low mids, I feel like.
Yeah, it definitely has some more low mids. Has a lot more lows in general. And the mids were in that different spot. They were much more low than the IR-2 had those high mids.
Right.
I don't know if I really preferred one over the other.
To me,
I was kind of not happy with either of them.
yeah, not as happy with the Vox as that. I will say that I feel like this one poked out in the mix. I could hear it a little better.
Yeah, I could too.
This one sounded a little mushy, but like that could have been the mix. That could have been just settings.
Well, and we're just listening in here through a monitor on the floor, which is what it would be like in real life. So who knows what it's going to sound like to you guys out there.
I feel like I would hear myself on stage better with that.
Me too.
But as far as sounds, I thought they were both pretty equal.
And we could have tweaked it. And we're using the, what did we end up going with?
The Brit.
We went with the Brit sound rather than the crunch. The crunch is a little bit different too. And maybe that one would have been a little better comparison. However, they're both kind of Marshall-esque. I forgot exactly what they're both styled after. I think the Brit is like an SLP one, you know, like a 100-watt plexi, basically.
Okay.
So I thought both of them done okay.
Yeah.
I think that neither of them done as well as the Pod done with the Vox or the IR-2 done with the Fender Blackface.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
So far, this is better Fender, that's better Vox, and they both are about equal with Marshall.
Yeah. So let's get a high gain. Is there like a rectifier sound or something like that in there?
I'm trying to
Because we're really big high gain players.
Yeah, I think I need to play this.
Yeah, you definitely do.
But I have a 5150. I can't remember what the other one is in here.
I
I think it's like in the Insane channel on the Line 6.
let's not do that.
So let's do the 5150.
There's a modified Marshall. There's a brown sound and a Soldano.
So should we do brown sound?
Probably brown sound for 5150.
Yeah.
Let's try that. We'll get those dialed up, and then because we're giant metal players, clearly.
Yeah, this is definitely our forte.
That last gain level was about as high as I normally get.
Yes.
So let's get these dialed up, and then we'll see what we think of those.
Sounds good.
Well,
Here we are.
once again,
You're welcome for those sweet licks.
man, sweet jams right there.
Actually, I miss Rob Zombie. Those songs are pretty good, actually.
I'm not saying they're bad songs. It's just not what I generally play anymore.
It's not my go-to, but man, it's got a groove to it. I was like, you know what? That's the type of
Yeah.
stuff to play.
Might as well embrace it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I kind of felt like, once again, they were fairly equal. There were things I liked about both, things I didn't like about both. I think this thing's got more bottom end.
Really?
Like, all the way around. I think this thing, after listening to it and stuff, at least here in the room with this little monitor we got set up, this thing feels like it's got more body and more bottom end on all the settings, I feel like.
Okay.
Not in a bad way, not in a good way necessarily. It just feels like it's just bigger.
Sure. Now, I do notice in my headphones, I turn the bass way down. So what's funny is here in the room, I got to EQ it a little differently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in my headphones versus through the monitors, it is a little different.
Yeah.
But I was trying to make it comparable.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and we were both trying to match like fairly close, and I honestly didn't feel like there was I don't know really how to tweak those sounds a ton because I don't play those sounds a ton. But B, I thought both of them had good sounds going back and forth. But it kind of took a second once we clicked a different sound to be like, okay, I'm starting to get into this. I can hear what this is doing. And whenever you switch again, you're like, wait a minute, did I like the other sound better?
I will say for the low end chug, this held together better.
Yeah.
But I felt like again, you could hear this in the mix better.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think you're right. Might have been
For the heavier sounds, I feel like this is tighter,
yeah.
but that is more like solo centric.
Well, and this also has like Soldano settings and all
yeah,
kinds
there's
of
a lot of
different
other
settings.
stuff you can do.
There's a lot of settings. This is just 4 settings that are commonly used, I think.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit the big food groups, like the main food groups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty happy, actually, with how it all comes together. In this thing, we didn't touch any of the delays, any of the modulation stuff in there. This obviously has all that stuff in there, too.
Right.
I don't think you can, after listening to this, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I kind of like, especially after watching you tweak this stuff and get some of these settings in between some of this, I'm very happy I went with the IR-2.
It's just easier to tweak on the fly.
So fast, so easy.
The thing is, this is easy if you want to add modulate all these effects on the fly.
Yeah.
That's why it looks more complex. Honestly, you hold this Alt button, see these bottom, mid, treble. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. But, I mean, on the fly, this is meant to use your effects a little more.
Okay.
So
I don't think you can go wrong. I think this one done the kind of blackface sound a little bit better. I think this one done the Vox sound a little bit better. I think both of them were kind of meh on the Marshall-esque sounds.
for heavy gain, I don't think you'd go wrong with either way.
And I think heavy gain, I think they both done really well.
You know what's weird is we have talked about like how they have not got Vox modeling very well, right? And I still believe that's true.
Yep.
But I don't think they got the Marshall modeling either.
No, I don't think so either. Especially not here. Maybe some different IRs set up in there. Maybe if we would have tweaked the right way or done something.
Yeah.
There's something about that like visceral punch of a Marshall in that high end.
You just can't get in a pedal
No.
or a modeler.
You'll never get it in there. And I think some of this too that we struggle with, like, oh, this doesn't really have the Marshall thing. This doesn't really have the Fender or Vox thing. I think some of that we struggle with, honestly, is because we're amp players. We're tube amp players.
Right.
We're used to that all the time. Coming through, feeling it behind us and hearing what that sounds like in the room.
Yeah.
I think it's just a big struggle. We go to this and we're seeing it too, so we know what we're playing through. But I think our ears hear it and we're just like, man, something just doesn't feel right.
I was real proud of how the pod did.
I didn't think it would do as well as what it did. And I had been really proud of the IR-2 and playing it a bunch. And then after this, I'm like, well, maybe that Marshall sound isn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But not that I really use the Marshall sound on it much. However, I think there's players out there. If you're wanting to replace your board if it goes down, this is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully this kind of clears some stuff up for you guys out there. I had been looking at videos trying to find some stuff that compared these whenever we bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And there really wasn't anything out there necessarily.
Not that I felt like represented the pedals very well.
No, if they were out there, it was people that felt like they were trying to, they were getting sponsored by one of these companies. We're not sponsored by any company here. We're just doing stuff for the fun of it because we're interested in it.
Yeah, no, I was curious how mine compared to yours. So I feel like for different things, this is better. For different things, that's better. So
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Did we screw this up? Should we have tried some different models? Should we have set the settings different or something?
Did you think my playing was the best playing you ever heard?
Definitely. Especially that heavy metal playing. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.